Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese are two of the most well-known basketball players. Their rivalry, which began in college in the National Championship and Elite Eight, has spread to the WNBA. Every time they play against one another, it is a must-watch game. This was more than just a basketball match, though fans have been waiting for this rematch for more than a year against Angel Reese. And what happened tonight will be remembered for a long time. From the moment the ball tipped off at Gainbridge Fieldhouse, it was clear that this wasn't about a win, but rather about pride, power, and proving who owns the spotlight. When the buzzer sounded, Caitlin Clark left no doubt. Two of the most divisive basketball stars, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, are back on the same court. It all began in college with the 2023 NCAA Championship. The finger-pointing, trash talk, and viral storm. Then came the WNBA rookie seasons, which were full of pressure, highlight plays, and non-stop media attention. However, this time was different. As the 2025 season opener was about a rivalry that now defines the league, not just basketball. From the first minute, Clark looked locked in. She made a deep three that set the tone in the first quarter. And by halftime, she had inserted points, and the crowd was electrified. However, it wasn't just about scoring. It was also about her poise, pace, and leadership. She controlled everything. Entire arena erupted as the final score was 93-58. Applause, 9,358. The biggest season ever. Angel retaliated, fighting on the boards and toying with fire. But Clark responded each time the sky narrowed the distance. In the third quarter, she took a step-back three over Reese. The internet couldn't believe what they just saw on ESPN. Caitlin Clark's ballast life. That step-back was cold, but it wasn't all praise. Some fans said the referees protected Clark, while others said Ree was disrespected. One user wrote, "Clark gets the timeline was on fire." But everyone agreed that this rivalry is far from over. This game wasn't just a rematch. It was a message that Caitlin Clark is here to lead, not quietly, but with fire. Superstar calls already. Another shot back. You can't guard her, so now it's a problem. For the Fever, this was more than a victory. It was evidence that Clark is changing. For the Sky, it was a wake-up call. And for the league, it just found its headline rivalry. Mark your calendars, because the next time Caitlin Clark plays Angel Reese, it might not just be a win. The WNBA wants to grow, and now is the time to amplify this skill, emotion, and drama. The WNBA isn't prepared for what's coming next. So why are you still living off of that? How about telling your daughter to improve her jump shot and stop missing layups? She missed a layup during a fast break in the last preseason game, and it could break viewership records and possibly the internet. The majority of fans witnessed a star solidifying her legacy during her rookie season. But off the court, one person wasn't celebrating, she was boiling. Angel Reese's mother didn't merely post a reaction. She unleashed a full-blown social media meltdown that turned a preseason TV rating into a national scandal. Caitlin Clark was lighting up broadcasts, selling, while Clark remained focused on the game. Reese's mother accused ESPN, the WNBA, and even the fans of favoritism, rigging, and disrespect. What drove her to the breaking point? And why did one player's ratings success cause such a public outcry from someone who wasn't even involved in the game? I'm Caitlin Clark, the guard for the Indiana Fever, and I got bumped. We'll take from three. The drama didn't begin on the court. It began online just hours after Caitlin's death. This story isn't just about basketball. It's about pride, pressure, and what happens when someone else becomes the league's face. And it's not your daughter. Numbers from Clark's preseason games, including an incredible one, were unprecedented for the WNBA. Angel Reese's mother turned to social media to declare that the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, which is absolutely true given her daughters. 3 million spectators for a non-televised exhibition. I don't like to criticize people's parents. unless they become the subject of a story about the sport, and in this instance, she is. However, rather than applauding the growth of the sport, she took aim at the fans, the media, and the hype machine surrounding Clark. My goodness, this news is likely to leave Angel Reese's mother in ruins when we're celebrating championship banners. She tweeted, "We are not the same." It was the type of passive-aggressive message that doesn't require a name to make it clear that she's upset. But she didn't have to name Caitlin directly. Her post was incisive, pointing out a specific fan base's attendance. Headlines. Kane Clark tweeted, "Oh, that certain fan base looking in the stands celebrating attendance, while others are looking up in the Raptors, celebrating championship banners. We ain't the same, different year, same." Kane Clark had nearly 15,000 people in that arena, which was essentially sold out at Carver. Haters, have a lovely day. Are you the same person that hates Kane Clark for living off her coattails? I think this is completely needless. To me, it sounds like hate. Insecurity is loud, confidence is quiet, and it was the timing that made it impossible to ignore. Just finished her second preseason game with the Indiana Fever. She was shrewd, self-assured, and effective. She made 5 of her 11 shots and led her team with a poise that demonstrated that this wasn't just hype. However, Reese's mother couldn't let the stats do the talking, so she posted a few comments on the internet. Okay, I don't know what to say. Reese's supporters praised her for standing up for her daughter's legacy, but Clark's fans weren't buying it. This isn't about banners. It's about people literally covering attendance statistics a few days ago. That's a problem. That's hate. We aren't the same. The reason this outburst was so fascinating was because Caitlin Clark hadn't said anything. Subtweeted, clapped back, posted cryptic messages, or sent out press releases. One user wrote, "Why take shots at a player who's done nothing but elevate the league?" Something about Angel's mother or anything like that is completely unrelated. Why don't you just keep your mouth shut, play basketball, and support your daughter? That's what mothers are supposed to do. I hope your daughter succeeds in this league because you don't hear Caitlin Clark leaving. So why is she at the butt? Now I understand why Angel is the way she is, because it's her mother. The results were record-breaking, and TV networks frantically changed their coverage as Indiana's preseason games suddenly attracted more viewers than regular season games. Met Gallup, Cuno, that was really unnecessary and petty of her, especially. For a grown woman, preseason wasn't just warm-up basketball. It was prime time, and Clark was the reason for that. However, that success had a knock-on effect because, to some, the attention that Clark received felt like a shadow cast on everyone else, particularly Angel Reese. If I'm not mistaken, I believed that Angel Reese was the one who elevated the WNBA dump. Accountable for transforming the dump into an unprofitable turd. To her credit, it's a well-polished turd that almost looks appealing. Of course, it's still not appealing enough to turn a profit, but I suppose the WNBA is taking baby steps. After all, what's another year of multi-million-dollar losses? Mainstream Media keeps telling me that Angel Reese was the star of stars and the icon of icons. Forbes headline from last month, how Angel Reese and Asia Wilson are spearheading the WNBA's expansion. The tension had been building since their college rivalry erupted in the 2023 National Championship game. That's when the hate speech started. In the eyes of the media, the viral memes made them completely different. Clark became the silent killer, while Reese was the vocal opponent. A preseason WNBA game. Do you get what I mean? By the way, why in the world are the Paige Beckers and Angel Reese ratings from the ION network on Friday? Why are they missing at the moment? Both players had high expectations going into the WNBA, but the coverage wasn't fair. Clark received odd quinte like squeed, print, like we're gonna die, like look at this, and we won't die. Look at this, and we all know. I've been exploring that. My L Quint My Levig, 8. Devo. I've said big double T time, while I see case quid dot quate. I cad. Dot y dot aqa. With sef case y get agree with ka id require with sevi k when k to see so I want I get can you kai can you spaghetti we did you got we could kick to a kai you kai kid do with I quick kick with kick guys do you kick you guy magazine covers, her signature shoe deal, sold out arenas, and questions about her ability to keep up. When Clark's ratings surpassed Reese's preseason debut numbers, the comparisons weren't merely inevitable. They were weaponized. All of a sudden, Reese's family felt compelled to defend her greatness not on the court, but online. This pettiness, insecurity, bravado, and inflated ego was caused by the mother man, and it wasn't necessary to dig. The national championship was won by LSU exactly 2 years ago, and we'll be starting our 3rd year in a few months. Why are you still living off of that? How about telling your daughter to improve her jump shot and stop missing layups?
She missed
a layup during a fast break in the most recent preseason game. But here's the thing, this wasn't about performance. The real drama is not in the game itself, but rather in the widening divide between who gets praised and who gets questioned. You may wonder why you have the fewest number of fans attending your games, and you may think that's because of that. Reese had a good game, but Clark made headlines. Relatable, you're not likable. People only listen to you when you're trying to make a fashion statement, or when you're showing off half of your body. You're showing off your new weave, which is so amazing, okay? And your new lashes. That's correct, but you don't talk basketball anymore. So this wasn't just a social media tirade. Rather, it was a warning that Rhea and Clark's rivalry is about branding, visibility, and legacy now, not basketball. He said something about Andrea's mother or anything similar, but he didn't explain why. You should be a mother and support your daughter. So why don't you just mind your own business, keep playing basketball, and hope she succeeds in this league? You don't hear Caitlin Clark pursuing her. So you know that what she did at the Met Gala was absolutely pointless and petty of her. Particularly a mature woman. But now I understand why Angel is the way she is. It's her mother's pettiness, insecurity, bravado, and inflated ego. And for Reese's mother, that legacy felt insulted. The irony of it all is that Caitlin Clark didn't have to say a word while Angel Reese's mother posted darged and diverted attention from the scoreboard. Clark just continued playing basketball, but the kind that sells out arenas, takes down league websites, and makes ESPN reorganize its entire broadcast schedule. Clark is back, and so is that CC motion. This topic isn't particularly new, but it feels new in a way because we finally saw Caitlin Clark return. She didn't criticize Reese. She didn't disparage LSU. She didn't add fuel to the fire. She lit up the court instead. As you can see, the Fever Brazil game ended at 1.3 million people who watched one. They came to an exhibition game. Or perhaps they said they came to watch an exhibition game that was a 60-point game. And Kay and Clark checked. 3 million people saw an exhibition game, not even a preseason game. It averaged 1 by the conclusion of the 3rd quarter. It's 3 million viewers, which is insane. But this is more than just a Clark versus Reese story. What transpired with Reese's mother revealed a more profound reality about the WNBA's media environment. The players aren't simply, it's understandable to a certain extent that they compete in games for attention, headlines, and influence, and occasionally those around them intensify that struggle. Angel Reese is more than just a player. She's a representation of swagger, confidence, and unrepentant self-belief. Her WNBA debut was meant to continue to rise, but in a league that is based on stories, only one player can be the moment. And that person right now is Caitlin Clark. The Indiana Fever just defeated the Atlanta Dream in what I thought was a fairly easy game. But I want to concentrate on Caitlin Clark because I believe she has improved tenfold over the offseason. That is my favorite thing about her. Caitlin Clark has been extremely effective in these first 2 preseason games. In the first game, she was 6 for 10. In the second, she was 5 for 11. She could have made more shots, but she made the majority. Of them, that's not meant to be disrespectful. That's just data. Clark's exhibition game against the Brazilian national team scored 1 goal before she played a single minute of the regular season. Her jersey sales, ticket demand, and social media following all skyrocketed to 3 million viewers. This isn't hype, it's history. Preseason games aren't usually that big in most seasons, but I don't know. This is like Showtime fever. The Brazilian national team, however, went hard. And even in the first preseason game when Caitlin Clark was out against the Indiana Fever and the Mystics, the Brazilians went hard. Meanwhile, Reese's preseason games barely made a difference. The ratings were low, the coverage was muted, and that silence was Reese's mother attempted to alter the story by transforming statistics into slights and numbers into narratives. But the issue is that neither the scoreboard nor the numbers lie. Nevertheless, there is something unquestionably tragic about witnessing someone fight against reality and passionately attempt to alter public opinion. It's the sports equivalent of bringing a tweet to a stat fight rather than performance. But perhaps that's the point. Caitlin Clark is just playing basketball. And the main reason I adore her is because she's being herself and making the world laugh. She isn't saying or doing anything wrong. This is really awful. Perhaps it's not about who's better on the court, but rather about whose story gets told and who feels excluded when it isn't. The frustration is real, but the facts they are presenting aren't. She's not out there shaking her booty on Instagram or attempting to garner all the attention or anything off of non-basketball things. Caitlin Clark is winning not just in games but also in impact, so this feud is far from over. Everyone knows deep down that this was about something much more powerful than a single preseason game. Relevance Race's mother didn't lose her cool. And it wasn't about attendance, banners, or tweets. The stage is now set not only for the next game, but also for the next moment. The next time Rhea and Clark share the floor, it won't just be about points. It'll be about the future. She broke down over TV numbers because she realized that no matter how loud the past was, the future was already moving on, whether or not. Her daughter was in the spotlight, about pride and proving something to the millions of viewers as well as the league. Do you think this story ends here? Reconsider.